It's the start of another work week in Brick Arena HQ, and it is the 8th of January. And it's a quieter weekend on Bricklink. Only 7 orders over the weekend. Although, to be fair, I did ship out on Saturday a few orders that I didn't get on video. Ones that came in late on Friday, and I didn't want them waiting around till Monday morning, so I just got those out quickly on Saturday. Now Brick Owl has fared a little better. If we look at Brick Owl, we've got 13 orders on there, so it just shows how, you know, the order intake differs on Bricklink and Brick Owl, and you can never quite understand why, if I'm honest. Now I do have a bit of a strange one on here with a 300 lot order, which is relatively low value given the lot count, so that one's going to be a little bit of a pain. But I have warned the person that it's going to take maybe an extra day or two to get that out, just because I'd rather prioritize the other orders ahead of that, because that may take a little while. And this is one of the problems, I guess, of not having lot limits and things like that, is you will occasionally get a large order that's low value. So I imagine 702 items for 300 lots, so every lot is going to be 1 or 2 items in the main. But having said that, if it's 1 or 2 items, they're usually pretty quick to pick anyway. So on Brick Owl, there's 1,633 items in 484 lots. On eBay, we've got 4 going out. Now again, some eBay orders were posted out on Saturday, so it's not really the full picture for the weekend. Now we had one of the conference calls with other sellers that we do occasionally last night, which meant that I didn't get on top of everything last night, but it was a good call, and I'm not too far behind. So let's have a look at what we have got. We've got on eBay another Series 25 figure going out. We've got a Minecraft Creeper going out, and then we're into the Bricklink and Brick Owl orders with a few parts here, sort of piratey related stuff. Lots of green 4x plates going out and a few other bits and pieces. That's the second largest order of those I've had in the last week, and they tend to be good for sort of mills plates and things like that, I think, and other sort of greenery. An order here for lots of these 1x1 cones, and then an order for some bulk sort of 2x4 bricks and some other bits and pieces. 108 white 2x4s, some 2x3s and 2x2s going out as well, and then other general parts orders. We've got a little flame head going out there, which is typically for something like Inferno or a minifigure, something like that. More basic sort of parts orders going out. These 2 wheels are going off to Italy, and that was the total sum of the order. And honestly, I wasn't quite sure what to do about this, because the risk with this is if something happens in transit and the parcel goes missing, then I've got to refund the postage, and the postage is the largest part of the order. So rightly or wrongly, I've told the person that I won't refund the postage on this if there's any issues on transit or whatever, and they've kind of accepted that. And I guess if there is a problem, we'll just have to see what happens. Hopefully that'll be okay. I think ideally I'd have rather cancelled the order, if I'm honest, but you know, they seemed really keen to get the parts, so I obliged. More parts orders. We've got a whole bunch of these green bracket plates going out. Still need to finish this order. Then we've got a Dimension set going out on eBay. This is the DC Comics one with the Joker and Harley Quinn. And then a Moana figure going out on eBay. And then the last of the parts orders here. You know, genuine stuff, nothing really too much to comment on. So I need to get these packed up and off to the post office, obviously. Still a few orders to do. And then we'll see what we can get done the rest of the day. I'm hoping for a much more productive week this week. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I'm still sort of struggling a little bit with the throat and sort of general sort of coldy symptoms. But we'll feeling a bit better in general, and we'll no doubt be more productive than we were last week at least. It's now Monday afternoon and I'm a little bit later getting to the second batch of orders today because I had a dental appointment this morning, and it's always a pain when real life gets in the way of getting on with work. But let's have a look at what we've got going out now. We've got a Captain Marvel going out on eBay, sold for just under £6. And then we've got more parts orders going out across Brick Owl and Bricklink. Sold a couple of these actually across several orders. So, you know, obviously people building car related mocks or models or whatever. I do have an issue with this. The customer ordered a hose, which is the wrong type, so I'm waiting for them to come back to me on that. More car parts going out here, and then another little order just came in that we're getting out the door as well. Now I've still got the 300 lot order to pick, and I've obviously not even started that yet, so we'll probably do that once I get these out of the way. I've got to head off shortly to pick up my granddaughter from school, and I'll drop these in the post box while I'm doing that and get back, and we'll get started on that mammoth 300 lots that I'm really not looking forward to. It's Tuesday morning, and I think I left you yesterday at the start of picking a 300 lot order, and this is that 300 lot order here. And as I think I mentioned yesterday, it was pretty much a case of, you know, one or maybe two items per lot. There were very few lots that had more than one or two in terms of quantity. I think the whole order was about 700 items or so. Now, it took about an hour to pick. And the problem from a seller's perspective, the problem with these kinds of orders is the time it takes to pick versus the value of the order. So I'm not trying to sound ungrateful here. I'm just giving you information from a seller's perspective of what these are like. So the order value for this was about £30. And as I said, took about an hour's worth of time. Now, if you look at something like the first order of the day, which is an eBay order for an Iron Man minifigure, this is £13. So, you know, close to halfway to the value of that order there. And this took about 5 seconds to pick. So that's the difference. And it's just unfortunate that, you know, that's the range of orders that you're going to get. I say unfortunate, I don't mean to say unfortunate, but what I'm saying is that's the kind of range of orders that you're going to expect as a seller. Now, there are ways, from a seller's perspective, if you don't want this kind of order, there are ways to restrict that. Now, obviously, I don't restrict it, which is why I've got this, and I'm happy to get it. At the end of the day, it's about making money, really, and this is making me £30, so that's great. But if you don't want to get that level of effort, then you can do things like restrict the lot count on orders, or you can set an average value per lot that you expect to get for an order. So things to possibly think about if you're a seller. So anyway, just to go through the rest of the orders, we've got a little order here for a couple of parts. This was actually a customer reached out to me yesterday, and they had a missing, or not a missing, but an incorrect wheel. I'd sent one with an axle through instead of a pin, and they'd kindly placed an order for another couple of parts, which meant that I could send that and get that in with the postage. We've got an elf torso going out for $2.75, and then we've got a couple more parts orders going out there as well. So we'll get this off to the post office shortly, and then we'll see what we're going to do. I need to try and do something about this overflow. I'm struggling to fit this batch of overflow, and a lot of this came from the vehicle box that I did just before Christmas. Struggling to get that into my overflow boxes that I keep around, like these black boxes up there, which are all full of specific colours. But I do have some overflow drawers as well, and the whole overflow thing is getting a little bit cumbersome at the minute, just because of the amount of overflow that I've got. So if you're not quite sure what I'm talking about, the way I work things is, if you imagine you're buying Lego constantly, and you need to keep all of the parts together, or at least that's my chosen way to do things typically. Now, you start off with a drawer like this, and you get you split it into three. Then as you get more of the item, you obviously need to put it into a bigger container. So eventually you'll end up filling the drawer with one item. Then you might move on to a different size drawer and start filling that. Or then you might move to an even bigger drawer and put things in there. Obviously I've got this kind of drawer over here, so slightly, you know, decent size again. But what do you do when they don't fit in those kind of drawers? Well, then you typically move on to a scenario of maybe bagging items in drawers, you know, so that you've got open drawers, a bigger space. But you even get quantity beyond that. So what do? And my system is that I have those bulk bins. So when an item won't fit in a drawer, I'll keep a drawer full of the item, whether it be this size, or this size, and I'll have that full of that particular item. But then any extra items will go into overflow and get bagged up like this. So for instance, here's some red 2x6 plates that don't fit in the location that they're in. So this goes into overflow, and then ideally would go into my red overflow box up there. The problem is the red overflow box is overflowing. So I need to, I don't know, come up with some more space for overflow, and that could be that I move that upstairs, possibly. But the problem is that if someone comes in and places a large order and they buy more than the drawer full, you've then got to go to the overflow as well to get the remainder of the items. And if that overflow is upstairs or in another location, that's going to be a real pain in the backside. So something to think about. I've even thought in the past about having some overflow at the container, but imagine how bad that would be if you needed parts and you had to go off to the container to get them. It would just be horrendous. So as I say, something to think about. And I don't have room in here for bigger tubs or for individual parts, so not sure what else I can do, but something to think about. And if you do have any ideas of how you would handle it, then let me know in the comments. I'm just adding some things to a Brickstore file ready to upload. I've got a file that I've had kicking around for a little while 216 items on it so far with about £40 or so, nothing major. But I've been working through a bunch of hoses, and I should have shown you this before because I'm right near the end. But I just wanted to touch on hoses and comment on them a little bit, because I do find there can be a little bit of a pain. Usually you've got, you've got several types of hose. You've got a ribbed type of hose, and then you've got rigid 3mm hose, and you've got pneumatic 4mm hose, which are very bendy. So those are some of the examples. But where I find it can be a pain is in terms of measuring them and choosing the right one. Because as you can maybe see here, they come with two different measures. One being a length in terms of studs. So in this example, a 33 length hose, which is 26.4 centimeters. So it becomes a little bit of a problem here, because you've got, well, I've got a measure, I don't know about you, but I've got a measure that goes up to 19 in terms of studs. And of course you can get your hose and lay it against the measure, mark it off, and kind of try and guess the stud length by doing that. The alternative method, of course, is also to put it against a ruler. And it's going to be hard here with one hand, but you get the idea. And stretch it out against the ruler and guess the length. The problem I find with it, and I don't know about you guys, is I presume that these stretch in use. So when you're using used ones, you'll often find that they don't measure up, and that they just seem to be between sizes sometimes. So I think this one is meant to be, what was it, 26.4, and it's going to be hard to measure that now, but I was getting it to more than that, I think, by close to another half a centimetre or so. So they can be quite difficult, just something to watch for. If you can, the easier if you've got, if you can get them on the guide like this and show you how many the stud length is. Or again, alternatively, use the ruler. But where you've got something like this, these are particularly stretchy, the pneumatic ones, which are a very soft rubber or something, or plastic rather, and they will stretch. So do beware that they're probably not going to measure up exactly when you're measuring these. Well, we're getting to the last hour of the day, and I just want something to sit down and sort and watch a couple of YouTube videos or something. So I've picked up this bag of headgear, and I'm just going to spend a few minutes sorting through this and adding to a brick store file, and we'll see what we got. I don't think there's anything super great in value in here, nothing that jumps out, amazingly. There'll be a few pieces that are from collectible minifig series, but I'm not expecting anything major, but we'll see what we find and I'll report back. Wednesday morning at Brick Arena, and I just want to show you which orders we've got in this morning. We are buzzing a little bit this morning with the football results last night. My team, Middlesbrough, were playing in the semi-final of a cup competition last night against Chelsea, and managed to win 1-0. And we still have to go to Chelsea and get a result there, but you never know, we could be in a final the way things are going. So fingers crossed for that. There's certainly a lot of upset Chelsea fans this morning. Anyway, back to the world of Lego, and on eBay we've got a J minifig going out. We've got lots of Technic connectors, heading out on another order, then an order for some friends, instructions, 4 sets, and then a few more Morris parts orders going out the door. So things seem quieter. They seem to have eased off already, which I'll be honest, I'm a little bit surprised at. January is normally a very good month. Now that could be, you know, me and not adding enough to the store. You know, adding things generates sales, so it could be that I had that you know, a little bit of downtime, who knows. But all we can do is continue to press on, keep sorting, keep adding, and you know, see how things go. So we'll get this lot ready for the post office, and then we'll look at what we're going to do next. So I'm just finishing up the hat pieces or headgear that showed previously, and there's all kinds of stuff in here. No individual item is worth more than a couple of pounds. I think if I just sort this by item there, you can see actually the most expensive thing is a brown visor. So it would be interesting to see what that's off. But we've got a few helmets there, some crowns, and then we're very quickly sort of dropping down to some tricorns and other bits and pieces. But we ended up with, let's have a look, 309 items in 100 lots for about £71. I'm going to take that file and cut it, and I'm going to go and paste it on top of another file that I've got that I've been working on. So we've got all of them in there together now, and that's going to give us a total of 235 lots for about £140. So I'm going to probably look at getting those uploaded now and get those added to the store. Well, I'm back at the container, and I've just come to swap a couple of tubs out, to be quite honest with you. I also partly came because I was hoping to find some parts that I'm short of, but clearly not here, at least not that I can see. As you can see, it's something of a mess at the moment, probably the worst state it's actually been in, just because I've got tubs all over the place at the moment. But it's far too cold to hang around too long and sort anything out, so I'm just gonna grab another tub or two from here and get it back to the house and try and you know, work through it and see what we can add to the store still. Someone was asking me the other day exactly how much bulk is there still here. There's still quite a bit. I mean, obviously this goes right down to the floor there. Each one is about 10 kilos, I think. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. There's got to be, and there's more here as well. There's got to be still 200 kilos of bulk to get through, I would say, personally. And the rate I'm going, it's still going to take a fair old while to get through this. Unfortunately, I'm not the quickest at processing this, if I'm honest with everybody. So we'll keep pressing on. We'll see what we can get done, and we'll get a couple of these tubs back to the house and get to work on them. It's Wednesday the 11th now, and you'll have seen yesterday that I popped over to the container to swap out a couple of tubs. So I've brought two new tubs back from the container, 1, 2, and we can have a quick look at what's in them, although obviously I am going to be doing some kind of sort on these, I presume. But if we look in the first one, looks to be largely Technic stuff. There is also a Darth Vader buildable figure in there, so might get a little bit for that with a bit of luck. So that's a Technic box, and then over here we've got what I presume to be more of a general box. I can see a number of plates on the top, a few bits and bobs, nothing jumping out at me at the moment. A couple of bits of minifig parts. We've got a spear there, I can see a droid, or part of a droid there. So we'll see what we uncover when we get further down in that one. That's probably going to be the one that I'm going to be more interested to tackle first. So we'll get to that one possibly this afternoon. But we've been picking orders, and got a few orders in this morning, as you can see. So let's have a quick look at what we've got. Basic sort of parts order there. We've got 587 of these going out to Iconic Bricks, who build lots and lots of enormous Lego displays. Really big company in the world of building custom built, you know, Lego. So interesting that they've picked those up. I've had a few orders in the past. Interestingly enough, that's about £60 worth of those there, and hopefully they'll be back for more items in the future. Here we've got another order for quarter towns. This is actually the same buyer, so I don't know what he's doing with them, but he's been buying, I think this is the third lot he's had off me in the last couple of weeks. So whether he's reselling them or using them for something else, I don't know, but he keeps buying them, and I think I've said I've got about 40,000 to go, so he can keep buying as long as he likes. And if he wanted to reach out for me for some higher quantity discounts, then please do. Yeah, more Technic related parts going out there. We've got a lot of these tan quarter dome bricks going out. Then I've got a whole bunch of stuff going out on this one, including a motor, which was about £18, and then some larger items, some of these sort of slides and boats, and some nice things moving out there. This was the largest order of the day, which was 80 something lots, which was nice. And then here off the Technic parts again going out, and then a few minifig parts and a few minifigures going out here, all Disney related minifigures there. Oh, and then on this side we've got one of the collectible figures going out. That's the train suit guy. So we'll get these packed up. We might get a few more in before we get off to the post office this afternoon, being a Thursday. I wonder how many of you are aware of changes that are about to happen on 1st of February on Bricklink. There's a post in the forum from Admin Russell, who addresses everyone, tells them about some forthcoming catalogue changes. And these are pretty major, because this is Bricklink condensing the different variation in parts and consolidating them so that those variants won't exist anymore on Bricklink. And there is a help page, which I'll come on to in a moment, but there seems to be a pretty overwhelming response of I think negativity, I haven't read them all. A lot of people saying don't do this, some are saying they approve, etc. So there's a mixed opinion anyway. Now, if you click on the help page, there is a bit more detail about what's going to be changing. So basically a whole bunch of variants. So it tells you here how many categories there are and what the changes are likely to be. So for instance, this is a perfect example here where you get the two variants where there are 4 connecting bars between the 2 dots, between the studs rather, and sometimes there's only 2 connectors. I don't think it makes any difference to the build or whatever, so I don't know why people would be against that. Now it tells you here that this action will affect 3 entries in total for this to be done. Others are a bit more extensive, smooth slopes, so I think they'll remove the smooth slopes, which are pretty uncommon. In my experience at least, they always seem to have that sort of rougher slope to them. The seats, where some sort of have a sprue mark from where they're removed from the sprue after moulding. The ribs on torsos, etc. So stud types, tiles, whether they have a groove or not. Now personally, I think it's a great move from a seller perspective, because it means we don't have to worry about these variants anymore. We don't have to be extra careful when we are sorting these parts to check we've sorted the right variants. We don't have to worry about having multiple storage drawers for each of the variants. We can consolidate them all into one lot. Now, the only negative for me as a seller will be that consolidation process from my perspective, in terms of having them in multiple locations. I don't know what happens then when the if one variant's removed, what happens to the stock and my entry for those. So I guess there'll be some effort on my side. I don't know how that's going to be communicated or how that's going to be managed. I haven't read any further on to kind of figure that out just yet. I'm just kind of looking at this afresh now. But overall, my own impression is one of support. Now, there might be some buyers out there who want these particular variants. I don't know how the variants will be represented in the inventories of sets. You know, some people will want a specific mold variant that would have come with that set from that point in time. So I don't know. I suppose the other thing is, you know, if people will be upset getting a mix of variants in the set if they're trying to make a set up. But from a seller perspective and from a work point of view, it's going to save me quite a bit of work, I think, going forward. So personally, I'm all for it. Be interested to know what you guys think. So leave a comment below if you're for it, against it, what your thoughts are. Is it a good move? Is it a bad move? And I'd be interested to hear what you've got to say about it. So it's time to tackle another bulk box. This is the one that I'm tackling first. And in the past, I've tended to do a video long form and put it out separately of the sorting process and me chatting away through it. In this instance, I'm not going to do that for a couple of reasons. One is, frankly, I just need to get on and get it done. But secondly, my voice is still not really kind of up to it, etc. So I think what I'll do is I'm just going to crack on. I'll get some of this sorted at least. I probably won't get it all done, but I'll sort through some of it, and I'll put aside anything of interest that I find along the way, if there is anything, and show you that at the end. And otherwise, it's just a sorting process for me of getting these first category sort into the various tubs, and get those categories bulked up a bit before we sort them down further and get them added to the store. Friday the 12th of January, and we've had a relatively busy intake of orders overnight. So if we have a look on Bricklink, we've got 10 orders to ship, and that's for 209 lots and 1198 items. Then on Brick Owl, another 6 orders for another 115 lots, 626 items, and a couple of orders on eBay as well. So been busy picking a first batch. So as usual, let's have a look at what we got going out, and we start with eBay. And on eBay we've got a Lego City off-road chase, sold that for £16. We've got a couple of Technic panels going out. Small order for plates and wheel arches and things. This is actually 2 separate orders. First order placed late yesterday, and another one overnight. More of the coral quarter tiles going out, which is always good. A couple of Ninjago figures and a few other bits and pieces going out there. And then we've got some classic space, some light pearl helmets, etc. going out there. We've got 5 collectible minifigures, going right back to series 1, I think. Yeah, series 1 cheerleader going out there, amongst other things. Some helicopter blades, a bunch of wedge plates, etc. A Naya core minifigure on eBay, more plates. And then over here, a few more orders, some Harry Potter related items in there, a couple of doors, and those are from the Harry Potter car. These little wedges have a print on them, they're from Harry Potter. Then we sold this dragon flag, that went for £5.25, and that came out of that was it that little used lot that I got on eBay with the plants and things. And then we've got a flash minifig going out there. Now the place is in a bit of a mess. Yesterday I mentioned I was going to be sorting out the tub here. Only got part way through it. I've got a couple of tubs of plates there, a bunch of minifig stuff, which is always good because I don't expect to find any minifig related things in there. I did find this Slave 1 plate, so that might be worth a couple of £. And then a bunch of printed stuff in there. And we found the hull of a police boat, set 4010. Other than that, nothing major to report. Found these weird little things in there. Not sure what they are. They clearly don't look official Lego. If anyone knows where those are from, let me know. Although I won't be keeping them, they're not, you know, they're broken anyway, etc. So I'm going to get this lot packed up. There's a few more orders to pick, which won't make the first post run. I'll get those out later today or in the morning, and we'll crack on sorting the rest of this tub when we eventually get those orders picked. Those are the larger orders, so they're going to take a little bit of time, a few hundred lots still to pick. So we better get cracking. Well, it's later on Friday now, and been picking a few more orders throughout the day, in amongst doing some other bits and pieces. I just thought I'd show you what these are before I get them off to the Dropbox. And first one is a snow villager going out on eBay. Then we've got an order from Dan, who's a regular contributor to the comments on the channel, big music fan like myself. We often exchange what we're listening to throughout the week, etc. And he's placed this order to get this part, which is an unusual slope, and actually sort of is meant to go that way up, I believe. And I think he said in his comment that he'd bought out all of these in the UK, unless this was the only one in the UK. Wasn't quite clear on that, but he's picked up a few other things, as he often does, rather than just placing an order for one item. He's very good like that, and his orders are always appreciated, and I know he'll be watching, so thanks, Dan, for that. This was the largest order of the day. I think this was the 100 and something lots order. Lots of bright light orange, and all sorts of bits and bobs in here. Technic pins, lots of plates, and one thing and another. And then this was an order for about 60 something lots, which is about £5 worth, I think. So I was quite amazed how many lots were going out there for the money. Now here we've got another Technic related order, lots of beams, lots of pins and other bits and pieces. And then we've got an order comprising completely of plates, lots of 4x4 plates in various colours, and then some other sort of 4x12s, 4x8 plates, etc. going out there as well. So I'm going to get these off to the post office, and I think that's probably going to almost do me for this week. I'm not sure if I'm going to get to much else. Maybe I might get an hour or so sat at the desk with some minifig parts or something, but I don't think it'll be anything super exciting. But we'll see how we get on, and if not, we'll get to it next week. So I'm just checking this out. This is the display plate for the Slave 1, and apparently there are two versions of this. One with a misspelling. The word tractor would have the second T missing in it, but this one is the correct spelling. And the price is a little bit surprising. It's coming up at £17.50. Now, I did have a look on Bricklink as well. There's only one available in the UK, which is listed at £15 at the moment. But there's none have sold in the last 6 months. I don't know how long the one that's up there has been there for, so I don't expect this to sell quickly. But I'll list it competitively on Bricklink, and we'll see what happens.